anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good. I personally don't. I personally believe in DEI. I think that actually helps with creating inclusivity within PWIs and predominantly white institutions.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh.
Would he say the same thing about HBCUs? Does he believe in inclusion and diversity in HBCUs? Like, this is why this whole DEI thing doesn't make any sense, because it's not going to be applied across the board. Because if they want every institution to represent how this country looks, and everything is distributed and dispersed based on percentages, well, then there will not be an HBCU. HBCUs would no longer exist, because your school would have to reflect the population of the country, right? HBCU would have to now go and have 60% white people. Now it's going to be a PWI. I mean, hey, am I looking at it too deep? I'm just saying. I mean, you have to apply it across the board, right? In sports, in HBCUs, right? In basketball, football, right? Now you have to have more white people in there. Like, where do we draw the line? Where does the representation stop?
Didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type shit. So yes, a lot of people think that.
Yeah, so I don't know what DEI looks like on this campus. So, yeah, so I can't speak to that. Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. I'm sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
okay.
That is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. Mm-hmm. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
Any Democrats you admire out there right now?
Democrats I respect. Bobby Kennedy type? I respect. Tulsi Gabbard.
Why are you laughing? Why are you smiling?
Because they're on our team now, because you guys kicked out your best people. It's like the people that were into. This is a great point, though, Governor. Is that Bobby Kennedy was a heterodox opinion on a thing that a lot of people were concerned about. Get him out. He's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard, who is anti-war. Get her out. She's a Russian agent. Yeah. Do you guys see how you have an unhealthy purification process where eventually you're left with just a 31% approval rating and a bunch of people that are talking to each other? And meanwhile, we're the ones that have Democrats in our cabinet winning the electoral majority vote, because there needs to be said, if Democrats are serious about being a majority party ever again, look at that ideological diversity. We have people that, they want to go to war with every country that says something bad against us. And then we have people that are far more dovish, like Rand Paul. But that is a better, more, dare I say, diverse picture. You could say diversity is our strength.
Oh, look at you.
How's it going? Johnny from Fox. What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
Thank you very much.
What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
I did clap when he said that the United States had supported Ukraine and given them lots of
Well, why not for Laken Riley's mom? How was that speech last night? Did you love it?
Well, I watched it. I don't think that was the best look for our party last night.
Very disappointing.
So you didn't stand up for anything?
The president got before the American people, didn't talk about how he could drive down grocery prices.
Senator, why weren't you standing yesterday for anything?
Very important hearing right now on anti-Semitism.
But you didn't stand for anything at the speech last night.
I don't know what you're talking about, where you got that information.
Well, there was nothing the president had to say.
Laken Riley's mom, you didn't stand for her.
Factual or truthful or anything like that.
We applauded.
You don't think it's worthy to stand up for her like everyone else?
We should applaud.
I need you to move.
Congressman, why didn't you stand for the speech?
Have a good day. I need to go to a meeting.
80% of the American people, according to CBS, loved the speech.
Again, I don't think with the United States...
Are the Democrats out of touch?
The United States of America Forgive me for going here. Forgive me for being out of breath.
I don't know what speech they were watching.
They were watching the president's speech, Senator.
Really? It wasn't worth watching.
Why was Al Green so disrespectful?
You can ask Al Green.
So I just pulled up to Congressman Al Green's office, went inside, see if he wanted to talk, because he did a lot of talking at the joint address, but they shooed me away. They said, we're not talking to Johnny. What was wrong with those Democrats? They couldn't stand last night?
Well, I think people got to see the difference between conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats. Liberal Democrats are miserable people.
I bet their butts were sore sitting that long.
Why do you want men and women's sports?
Therefore, I
Senator,
need to go. Aloha.
Why do you want men and women's sports, Senator?
Thank you.
Congressman, how are you?
Okay, thank you.
Congressman, why should men be in women's sports?
Shorts?
Sports. Why do you think
They should not be in shorts.
Senator, why are we paying for Sesame Street in Iraq?
What?
I do not know that is true, so I'm not going to say yes or no.
You don't trust the Doge findings?
I don't really have an opinion on that. And I work in a business. I think it requires, we don't have to have an opinion on everything.
These people are so out of touch. Oh my God. They're so miserable. These people are so miserable. This is the exact reason that they lost, and they don't see it. They will never see it. Witnessing the downfall of the Democratic Party is the most entertaining thing that I've ever experienced in my lifetime. Like, there's nothing more entertaining than witnessing what's going on politically right now, especially what's happening to these Democrats. I mean, it cannot be written, better than this. House of Cards couldn't have came up with a script like this.
So yesterday, the House voted to censure Green, which inspired this show of unity from some Democrats. Watch this.
Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker.
Where do they come up with these Negro spirituals from? Like, they have to be rehearsed. Because how do y'all come up with this song just out of nowhere? They got a Negro spiritual for every situation. For every hardship that Democrats run into, they got some type of Negro spiritual rehearsed already, ready to go. These people, this party is just bad. Like, this is, I feel like it just can't get any worse, but every single day it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for these people. I'm shocked every day by the news that comes from these people. It's hilarious.
Oh, you like that, huh? It's touching, but it didn't unite them all because 10 Democrats voted to censure Green.
Wow. Do you want a list of the 10?
Do you want to hear their names?
Yes, I do.
Why go after them, too? Go after the Republicans.
Because they don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. This is an existential crisis.
And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, California.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Okay,
They should have all walked out with him.
And three are from districts.
Here's a question. Where was all this talk about decorum from Republicans when Marjorie Taylor Greene was screaming at Biden? Okay. All right, now, you want to hear where they are? I'm going to read them. Amy Berra, Ed Case, Jim Costa, Lauren Gillen, Jim Himes. I would never have thought that. Chrissy Houlihan, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz, what?
Yeah.
Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez from Washington, and Tom Suozzi.
I think, respectfully, though, there's a lot of people who saw the outburst differently, including Democrats, which was, if you're going to protest and be an opposition party, do it with intentionality and make sure it works. Holding up signs, it's protesting, like, are they being advised by people who use, like, Windows 98? It's the most outdated, inconsistent.
We're talking about green.
But to his point, I get his point on Medicaid, but this mandate point, if Democrats are going to keep arguing, we only lost by X million of votes, that is not the winning message you guys think that it is.
He doesn't have a mandate.
Can I just tell you what Suozzi said, why he voted?
How many votes do you need win by to have a mandate?
This is Suozzi's, he's a New York guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Both parties must hold themselves to the same standards we expect from the other side. See, they're going to a gunfight with a knife, as they say.
Yeah, Democrats, listen to Sonny Holston. Listen to Sonny, and I promise you that you're going to win a lot more elections that way. If you just take her idea and her strategy, and everybody should have walked out, everybody should have been defiant, everybody should have been just out of order, and that's her strategy that she thinks is going to help these Democrats. I mean, by all means, please listen to Sonny. Like, that's her argument here. Her argument is that, well, all of them should have did it, basically. All of them should have walked out, when it should have been the exact opposite. Y'all should have showed unity. Y'all should have stood up on, a lot of things that Trump was saying. But y'all decided to act like little children and just sit there and cry and put up these weak virtue signaling signs that y'all held up the whole time. These people are completely out of touch, and I love it. I love the infighting. I love that they're tearing each other apart, because they're not going to recover at this pace at all. They're arguing if this was a mandate or not. They're arguing about simple stuff. If this is a mandate, what is a woman? They can't figure nothing out.
Invidious discrimination in the House of Representatives. I'm a son of the segregated South. The rights that the Constitution recognized for me, my friends and neighbors denied. I had to sit in the back of the bus, the balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain, and my relatives who committed some crimes were locked up in the bottom of the jail. I know what invidious discrimination looks like. The Klan burned a cross in my yard. I know what it smells like. I was in filthy waiting rooms, and I've been in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, and then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
Oh, Al Green among them. He becomes the fourth House Democrat to be censured in the last 4 years. And Hakeem Jeffries, your counterpart on the other side of the aisle, had this to say about the censure.
The censure resolution put forth by extreme MAGA Republicans is not worth the paper that it was written on.
He says it's not worth the paper, and House Freedom Caucus members.
He's always talking with his hands. He's always talking with his hands.
Members are asking to put forward a resolution to remove Al Green from his committee assignments. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the interesting thing is he was censured for disrupting the proceedings of the House. And while I was reading the censure that was voted in, by the way, by 10 House Democrats who joined Republicans in that, they disrupted the proceedings of the House. So there's some irony there. We have to keep decorum. We have to keep control of the proceedings because we're the greatest deliberative body in the world, and we need to act like it. And I think this went way over the line. By the way, these censures, this is not a normal thing. I mean, he was only the 29th member of the House to be censured in the entire history of the U.S. Congress. So it was above the pale. He's the first person to ever be removed from the floor during a presidential address. It was appropriate, and we've got to maintain control.
Emily's going to hop in here, but just a quick follow-up. What about his committee assignments? Do you think that's on the table?
Well, I talked to Freedom Caucus members and other Republicans who are deeply concerned about this. They say we have to restore control one way or the other, and they need to be real consequences, and it's something we'll be looking at early next week.
Okay. Law enforcement, local law enforcement, they are always going after crime. And they don't say, oh, you committed a murder? Oh, but you're an immigrant? well, let me let you go, right? So they are always focused on crime. They continue to say things like the illegals and that they broke the law coming in. But what they're not telling the American people is that it is a civil violation. It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. And so that's why I wanted to point out, don't give me this fake outrage about criminals roaming our streets when you guys stand 10 toes down for the biggest criminal that we have ever seen go into the White House.
Yeah, this woman is loud and wrong once again. Every single time that she opens her mouth, she just loud and wrong. I mean, as wrong as it can possibly get. How are you going to say they came in here illegally, but they didn't commit a crime? I mean, you just literally said it. They came in here illegally. But here's the thing. Besides the semantics of this whole game that these people are playing, she's being so untruthful here. She's willfully trying to deceive her followers and her voters, because she will say, well, it's a civil infraction for you coming to this country illegally. Well, here's the thing. That's half the truth. Coming into this country illegally without going through the ports of entry, without having any permission, and you just jump the border or you get smuggled in, that is a crime. It is a misdemeanor. It is a criminal offense. You'll get, I think, like 6 months in jail, and there's some types of fines. And if you do it again, it's a felony. You'll get deported and all that. You'll get deported if you get caught regardless, right? Now, it's a civil matter if you just overstayed a legal visa. If you had a visa and you overstayed the visa, then it's just a civil infraction. You just go to court and then you just have to plead your case, right? It's not criminal. But she's trying to encompass everybody that just overstayed their visa and is just committing a civil offense, and also labeling illegal immigrants that jumped the border, that got smuggled in, into that same umbrella as people that overstayed their visa. This woman, I'm telling you, the Democrats thrive on ignorance. They know that their constituents, some of them, don't do their research. They'll just listen to what a Democrat has to say, and they think it's just the truth. But she's so wrong and loud here. It's not even funny. This woman is, she's deceiving people on purpose, or she's just ignorant. She doesn't even know the law, and she's a congresswoman. So both are horrible, right? If she's doing this on purpose, she's a horrible individual. She's a horrible human being. She should be removed. And if she doesn't know the law and she doesn't know how migration into this country works, she also needs to be removed, right? She doesn't know what she's talking about as a congressperson. So anyway, this woman is just frustrated. I cannot stand every time she opens her mouth. It just pisses me off. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. Hit the like button if you like the video. And of course, if you are brand new, consider hitting subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.